Do you feel guilt, overwhelming anxiety, and a heavy uncomfortable feeling every time you stop working and try to rest? Well, in this video, we are going through the reasons why this happens and how to overcome it so you can finally rest without feeling guilty. So for many years, we used to feel really guilty and restless whenever we weren't working and we were just having fun or resting. And even sometimes when we would be invited to go out, we would say no because we knew that we would feel guilty if we weren't doing something productive. I remember times when I used to watch movies and I would feel really restless through the movie and I just wanted to be doing something else because I felt like I should be being more productive. But after working on some of the beliefs that we had and exploring the reasons why we actually had this guilt, we were able to let go of it so that we got to a point where we could actually have fun and rest with no guilt or overwhelm. And today we're going to share with you exactly how we did that. So firstly, we're going to go through the 4 common causes that make us feel guilty when resting. The first cause is conditioning through childhood. One of the reasons you may be experiencing guilt and restlessness whenever you're relaxing is because of your childhood conditioning, which basically means you may have repetitively been told something which became your belief. For example, perhaps when you were a child and you were resting or having fun, you were always called lazy. Or maybe you were taught as you were growing up that working and schoolwork is far more important than resting or having fun. Inheriting these sort of beliefs from childhood can carry forward to your adult life. So even when you want to rest and relax and be joyful about it, your mind, which has been conditioned from a young age, still feels guilty that you're not working or being productive. The other events that may have occurred is that you may have felt more worthy when you were a child when you were actually working. If you had a childhood where you felt for one reason or another that you were not loved enough, or you felt unworthy, or you didn't feel that you had the attention and love from your caregivers that you desired, but then you noticed that when you did something good in school or you passed an exam or accomplished something, you were given more attention, recognition, or love from those caregivers, you may have created the link that working and producing results makes you more worthy or lovable, and this is far too common and can lead to workaholism if the psychology behind this isn't resolved. The second cause is conditioning through society. We live in a society where almost everyone's goal or main objective is to be as productive as possible and to do as much as possible in as little time as possible. Everywhere you look, everyone you see seems to be pushing themselves beyond their limits to do more and more and more, making us all think we have to do the same. Unfortunately, our society teaches us that everything has to be extreme or excessive. We're taught that we have to overproduce, overconsume, and overdo everything in our lives. But this pattern we are running leaves us feeling burnt out, empty, and exhausted. And because everywhere we look, productivity appears to be the main goal or main indicator of a day well spent, we feel guilty if anything we're doing feels unproductive or fun or joyful because it doesn't fall into our definition of productive. The third cause is escapism. Have you realized that when you're quiet, still, or resting for a long time, your mind starts to overthink? You feel uncomfortable, and so you have this urge to do something to distract yourself. And then when you do distract yourself, these feelings are eased or they go away until the next time you're still again. This distraction or escapism is because suppressed emotions, feelings, and thoughts are coming up that make you feel uncomfortable, so you want to do something that distracts you from these unresolved psychological concerns. If there are things that are unresolved in your life, or you have suppressed emotions over a past event that you haven't fully processed or dealt with, you are probably experiencing a lot of restlessness when you do rest because the work takes you away from these problems and unresolved psychological issues. The fourth cause is a scarcity or fear-based mindset. Sometimes when you go through a period of financial difficulty or a hard situation in life, you find yourself coming out of that situation but still running the same programming as if you were struggling and still going through difficult times. This means that you still work and act like you do not have enough, and you continue to live and operate from that scarcity-based mindset. Resting makes you feel guilty because you fear that it will result in you re-experiencing those challenging times. You must understand that you cannot grow and develop in a fear, scarcity-based mindset. You will be in survival mode, which means you won't have new ideas, new inspirations, or grow in any way. Fearing that we'll lose momentum or again end up in the same place of difficulty is the lie we tell ourselves to keep going and working endlessly so we don't stop growing and stagnate. But the truth is, while you're still operating like a machine, trying to do more and the same thing over and over again, and not resting to get new ideas and inspiration, that is when you're stagnating. You will never feel abundant or content if you don't allow yourself to rest, because subconsciously you're always telling yourself, there isn't enough time, I don't have enough things, I need to work harder and harder. So now we're going to run through the solutions for this, and we have 4 tips for you. The first is to create awareness around the origins of this restlessness and guilt. So the first thing you want to do is figure out why you have this restlessness and guilt. And it may be that you start to ask yourself and unravel why resting doesn't feel good. But a good place to also start is to ask yourself why working feels so good. You can start to think about the 4 causes that we've just mentioned and see which ones or one you fall into. But it's important for you to learn what your beliefs are that are making you feel restless and uncomfortable. And there's a few questions that you can ask yourself or journal about. The first one is, what is my work ethic being driven by? Perhaps for you, it's the need to feel significant and successful. Or maybe it's so people pay you attention. Maybe it's to have status because that makes you feel worthy. The second question is, what do I feel when I'm resting? Here your mind may say, I'm being lazy, or I'm going to fail at something, or maybe you feel inadequate. Perhaps you feel uncomfortable feelings, and if so, let these feelings arise, and without judgment of them, continue to ask your feelings what they are trying to teach you. The third question is, what am I running away from? Are you fearful that you are not or won't be successful? Are you fearful that you won't be fulfilled, you won't be loved or appreciated? Simply by doing this exercise and understanding more about the origins of where your feelings of restlessness and guilt are coming from, it will accelerate you to resolving this problem. The reason I say this is because you will have one powerful thing to make massive progress, and that's awareness. Once you know what the causes of your drive to overwork and distract yourself are, and you realize that it's just from unresolved emotions that need to be processed, or beliefs that are almost always not true but simply conditioned into you, next time those feelings come up and you have the urge to overwork and distract yourself, you can recognize it and change direction. How do you change direction? You choose instead to follow your joy and realize these feelings of guilt are not truth. This is basically a rough walk through what we talk about a lot on our channel, which is shadow work, and we do have quite a few videos if you want to check them out, and we'll also link down our masterclass Burnout to Balance below, which goes through a step-by-step guide of shadow work so you can gain greater awareness. So the second solution is to stop comparing yourself to others. So when it comes to comparing yourself to people online or people around you, not only do you usually not have a full picture of that person's life, but the chances are they too are struggling with the same feeling of guilt when they rest as you are, which means following their set of beliefs and their actions is likely to not give you the results you want. If we follow what most people are doing, we may end up avoiding rest and joy in pursuit of a life of rest and joy. So instead of following and comparing yourself to others, use your own values and vision for your life to guide and influence you. Identify what you want in life and start creating it without being swayed and pulled in all different directions by looking at what others are doing. Keeping up with every new trend or idea that comes along will only leave you feeling lost, confused, and exhausted. So identify what you want and follow that. The next solution is to create big belief changes. If you have been distracting yourself and overworking for a long time, then this has become a part of your identity. And your identity is made up of your beliefs, which we now know is often inherited by other people and our environment. If you want to make big change, then you have to rewrite those old beliefs that tell you you should always be hustling and being productive and feel guilty if you're not, so that you can create beliefs around success with balance. There is so much evidence out there now that supports that the happier you are, the more productive you are. When you are joyful, you can tap into your creativity and the work flows and feels easier than when you are tired, exhausted, or in a bad mood. We have enough evidence to support that relaxation and joy promotes peak performance. Yet many of us still believe that success is only achieved through blood, sweat, and tears and all-nighters and hustle mode constantly having to be on. These are just beliefs that we have inherited, and the belief of hustle and always being busy is so glamorized nowadays, when in reality, being burnt out and always working isn't glamorous at all. Find examples of other people that aren't hustling 24/7 and not sleeping at night to be successful, and they're still successful. Let them be your inspiration and your truth and your new beliefs. If you are someone who likes affirmations, you may also want to repeat these affirmations to help you recondition your old beliefs. When I am rested and joyful, I am my most productive. Rest amplifies my results. I attract success when I am still and aligned. The universe works for me when I am resting and having fun. The fourth solution is to have self-compassion. Self-compassion is one of the most important tools when it comes to being able to rest without feeling guilty. At the end of the day, it's your mind, your beliefs, the way you're talking and treating yourself when you rest that makes you feel so guilty when you're doing it. If you beat yourself up and make yourself feel like you're not safe when you're resting, you're never going to want to do it. So start to have more self-compassion and make yourself feel safe when you're resting. Speak to yourself kindly and acknowledge yourself for taking the time to rest your body and mind, even though it feels uncomfortable. Acknowledge that it's not your fault that you find it difficult or scary to take time off and rest. And instead of tearing yourself down, start to change those stories in your head and say things that empower you and motivate you to want to look after yourself. Also realize and acknowledge that you are already worthy and enough. No amount of doing more or achieving more is going to make you more worthy than you are now. That's it for today, guys. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, share, subscribe and comment. And until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.